We freed the slaves from the Civil War, survived 2 world wars, outlived the Cold War, and suffered from the Vietnam War. Now get ready for the next major political divide that ruptures the very balance of this nation.
Ribbons in the streets.
The console wars.
PlayStations
are queens.
It's not an Xbox.
She's a fuck!
Fuck you.
Ah, yes. Grown men and women holding chauvinistic values guided by an us versus them mindset, which leaves them zealously pledging allegiance to their own ideological camps that they swear stand for everything they hold value, when in reality they're just corporate-owned mega industries that don't really give a shit about the person. More so do they just need the consumer to unquestionably buy into their power structure. What we see now is men and women cracking their Twitter fingers and going to town on which brand they will split their wallet open like college pussy for, regardless of which option is arguably better. We are still going to indoctrinate our sons and daughters into the mindset of brand loyalty. In all seriousness though, why do you think people stir up so aggressively during console drops? I think it's spectacular watching people so zealously defend and attack with so much prejudice. They're making harsher apology videos than niggas who record dead bodies. Nobody finds it weird that we've all been indoctrinated to hold these companies with such high regard. Do you think people are loyalists to a brand like this because of passion or something else? Personally, I feel like 5 elements explain why the gaming atmosphere is exactly like this.
Number 1.
Not enough accessible parties. The difference between console and PC, I would say, are like buses and cars. A bus is econ class standard. It's an unbiased system that treats every passenger the same, takes all of us to the same destination at the same time, under the same guidelines, and doesn't discriminate on who its passengers are. Whether you be young, old, rich, lower class, etc. We sit in the same seats, take the same routes, and get off at the same time. A car is an individualized experience. Even in appearances, no 2 cars are the same, and typically what's under the hood varies not only in what the driver wants from the car, performance-wise, but also what the driver can afford to spend on their car to get where they need to go. Every driver drives different, gets their parts from different places, invests in different things, maintains their cars differently. With such complexity, cars would seem like a more risky venture, although the personalized freedom and flexibility far outweigh the cost, right? Imagine this though. Imagine if there were only 2 major bus companies or systems, maybe 3. If you count it as the less popular option. Imagine if all your fondest memories were on the metro and not any other bus line. You would have an unquestionable allegiance to the metro system, and it would be your primary choice of transportation. That's it. That's the whole analogy. Let's move on. Consumerism. People love buying shit. If you have money, you don't just not spend it, dumb nigga. But some people love spending more than others. However, that doesn't mean they invest or spend according to their own desires. They typically go with the flow of the majority, and are usually instructed to buy things based off advertisements and word of mouth. It's kind of scary how conditioned most people are. Niggas will justify buying a PS5, PS5 Pro, Xbox Series X, and possibly an Xbox Series X Slim, but will scream and profusely vomit when suggested to just save up and buy a PC. The same nigga calling you a nerd for dropping 2 G's on a gaming PC that will last you 10 years is currently buck naked eating a bread sandwich cause he spent the fucking mortgage getting messy on FIFA 20 even though FIFA 21 is next year. Number 3, tribalism. What if I told you no one is falling for that lone wolf bullshit you be pulling and recognizes that one way or another you desire to be loved and accepted in some capacity? What if I told you that one of the easiest ways to do that is to simply do what the majority around you seem to be doing? You might respond to that by saying, "Not me, bro. I'm built different." So is the other 10,000 niggas that just said that. You're not that unique, you bitch ass fuck. Tribalism is the common sense conclusion to an us versus them atmosphere. When you paint your allies as white and your enemies as black, I did not think that one through, sorry about that. You end up making distinctions so clear, you often idolize or exemplify those around you and vilify or delegitimize those you oppose. While one may see this as a strength, in reality it makes us 100 times more subjective to manipulation and subterfuge. All I have to do is introduce myself as an ally, and it doesn't matter what I'm doing behind the scenes. You'll not only overlook those things, but with enough indoctrination, you'll probably even justify them. As long as someone is feeding you that bullshit, you'll blindly support that cause during its ups and downs with no real distinction from what you morally perceive as right and wrong. At that point, they can sell you anything. This applies to both sides, by the way. I'm just saying. Number 4, Exclusivity. Haha, nigga, I got it and you don't. Exclusivity gives validity to vanity. Any price for anything can be justified as long as the next nigga won't have it, can't afford it, or wants it but cannot get it. The emperor's new clothes are the epitome of desire, crossed with delusion of grandeur what makes you believe even when stripped bare, it is those around you who fail to see its worth, not you. Basically, niggas pick sides because they believe their side has something the other side doesn't, and that makes them better. Yeah. And number 5. Nostalgia. Nostalgia is the feeding ground for culture vultures to set up shop. Easiest way to pull at your emotions is to take you back to when you were your most vulnerable, your childhood. Whether that attachment is the first time dad tossed the ball to you, your first Christmas you can remember, birthday, etc. If I can latch my personal value with that emotional bias, it shoots my relevance up to you exponentially. Even if that moment is a modicum of pleasure, all it takes is one time and you'll chase that dragon till the end of time. 5 major institutions that continue to ensure our subscription to the mantra of a specific beat. Isn't it interesting to know that these very institutions are systematic in the gaming hierarchy, and to weaken or abolish any of them would effectively weaken the console market as a whole? It makes you wonder if other systems which are governed may also have certain institutionalized methods to control the ebb and flow of its citizens. Yes, interesting, yes. Even now, as I say this, patrons of both sides take arms to social media to protest how the other's console looks aesthetically unappealing. I, for one, definitely think the Xbox Series X looks like ass. The bleak, depressing black design with no curves or excitement. This shit looks like I pressed the power button and pop open the case to grab a lukewarm Mountain Dew. This shit is the physical embodiment of censorship. If you told me this was designed in Soviet Russia, I wouldn't even question it. If my daughter presented this to me, I would think that bitch is into witchcraft, because clearly this is an obelisk to Azathoth, the sleeping god. And even though together both consoles look like a modem and a router, I guarantee you each side will have thousands, if not millions of fans zealously protecting their brand's name like they own it, which is ironic because at the end of the day, Jim Ryan and Phil Spencer get the last laugh. So go ahead and call the PlayStation 5 Kaiba's jacket all you fucking want. As soon as the pre-orders open, it's off the shelves faster than the toilet paper we freaked out about 2 months ago. Regardless, it's interesting how the only time we as a society are disrupted are only by personal inconveniences. We've claimed we've progressed, yet time and time again situations pop up that show otherwise. And while we can agree that a new generation of consoles is definitely a point of celebration, I can't help but wonder how no matter how the industry changes, the games change, the platforms change, the culture changes, the players change, we still perform the same way every single time. Who knows? Maybe I don't want to be a politically inclined channel, so I throw these ideas around under the context of video games. Maybe this social commentary extends past consumerism and is me asking you to assess every aspect of your life under this lens. Maybe if you can see the ridiculousness and contrived nature of being juxtaposed to something due to an emotional allegiance you have with something else, you can put your personal beliefs aside and recognize that your opposition at the end of the day is exactly like you, a fellow man, woman, or in between, simply trying to acquire equality, fairness, and to be exonerated of the burden of having to choose a side to begin with. Maybe it's Maybelline. One thing's for sure though, I'm broke as fuck. So if you could donate to a nigga's PayPal, subscribe to a nigga's Patreon and channel, or heck, even join a nigga's Discord to interact with him, that would go. Hey, please, don't end the video, please. I'm so desperate for financial benefit. Please